Well, hello everybody, and you join us here at the end of 2021, and what a year it's been. Not just for watches, but for a lot of things, and to be honest, we want to reflect on the things that we enjoyed the most. So we're looking at our favourite watches of 2021. Tom, how's 2021 been for you so far?
Meh.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. There's not much of it left.
No.
Let's talk about the watches instead. So I'm going to pitch to you, Tom, a few watches that I think are real contenders for the best watches of 2021.
Go on.
And I want to see what you've got.
I've got a couple of my own.
And being that I'm already talking, I'm going to start. So them's the rules.
Rolling start.
Rolling Start!
Tudor Black Bay. Oh yeah, I've got one of those. Chronograph.
Yeah.
You feeling me?
Sure, yeah, I like it. I'd quite fancy a chronograph. It's something else to fiddle with, isn't it? Get that going.
Yeah, oh, you can unscrew the pushers and then you can press the pusher. That's double, isn't it?
That is double, yeah.
But you might be wondering why I'm interested in the Black Bay chronograph. It's been around for a while.
Looks mighty familiar.
It certainly is, but this year...
Is this another new hat situation?
Let's see. It's pretty close to new hat situation, but I think I'm going to win you over.
Okay.
Tudor Black Bay Chrono, 41mm. They've got that movement in there that they're sharing with Breitling. As a little aside, we opened the case back on one of these. Do you remember?
Of course not.
And where the third subdial was supposed to be, it was just a jewel with nothing in it, looking quite sad by itself.
It sort of had me in mind of when you buy a car without any optional extras and there's the plastic plate where the stereo should go.
Yeah, and you've got that row of buttons that all have a blanking plate fitted in them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's how the old Black Bay Chrono felt to me. It felt like a missed opportunity. Because I'll let you into a little secret. Do you want to know the watch that I would own over any other watch if I could?
Go on.
The Rolex Daytona.
Really?
Yeah. 16520.
Yeah.
Just a simple Daytona. It's been ruined now. I can't own that watch. I can't afford it either.
What's ruined it for you?
It's just everyone.
The fanboys.
Yeah. You, if I'm talking to you and you own one, you've ruined it for me. That's it.
Yeah. I don't even want one, but I only got it because it's Rolex. So, I actually lost mine at the airport, I'm really gutted about that.
But so what they did is they took that Black Bay Chrono that looked a bit like that Daytona that I wish I owned, but I'm glad I don't own, but I wish I owned.
Yeah.
And they put the black bezel on that harks back to way back, pre-16520 Daytonas. They gave it the inverted dial in either way that you could choose.
Panda or inverted panda.
I refuse to call it a panda dial. I don't know about you. I don't subscribe to all these nicknames. They're annoying.
It makes it easier than M79360N-0002. Oh, the panda. Yeah.
We'll stick with inverted. Panda. I don't know. Panda is like a little stuffed toy that kids have.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend a lot of money on this. I don't like things that I spend a lot of money on having childish nicknames.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah. But
we'll have to do a video on nicknames at some point, and I can tell you about how much I don't like them all.
Okay. I think this is coming from a personal place.
So they have tidied all of that up. They've made it a bit thinner. They've put some more red accents on it. And now just visually, it pops. It absolutely pops. And I really want one. And it will sit so nicely next to my Black Bay 58. And I can't have one.
Why not?
You can't get them. Like the Daytona, they're all sold out.
Yeah.
So actually, scratch that off the list. That's going to the bottom. I hate it.
Yeah. But this is we're all just admiring from afar, aren't we? We're pigeons on the phone lines looking at the shiny objects below.
But this is a £3,600 watch. This is a realistic proposition.
Yeah.
If there were any for sale.
Yeah, but that's because all the unrealistic propositions are so unrealistic that we have to go to the realistic ones and make them unrealistic. Do I make myself clear?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this is like when all of the food court of Harrods has been sold out. And so now they're coming to my Tesco and they've bought everything from Tesco as well.
Yeah.
And I've got nothing.
No little egg mayo for poor little Andrew. this year.
So that's my very disappointing first pick.
Yeah, cool looking watch though, so
Oh yeah, absolutely.
we can always look at the pictures.
Tom, what have you got?
So, I'm coming at you with a GShock Marble limited edition, the MTG-B2000XMG-1AER. Feeling me?
Oh, the 1AER. I'm not familiar with this. Tell me more.
This is a multicolour Mystic Mountain monstrosity.
Okay, what I'm picturing already is absolutely 100% Tom. Does it have any blue in it?
Yeah, there's some blue in there, along with the pink and the orange and the yellow and the purple and the gold and all sorts. This is a wizard's watch if he fell into one of his potions and then came out loving life.
I'm looking at this watch, Tom, and this is very much you. I do note that this is a £1,000 G-Shock.
Yeah, that's very un-me, isn't it, that price tag? £300, that's my limit, 300.
It does look like a £300 watch. Tell me, why is this a £1,000 multicoloured Rainbow Mountain in Peru G-Shock?
Well, I'll tell you, this is what happens when metal meets carbon meets resin. Yeah, did you hear me? Metal.
Metal?
Yeah.
I'm not going to... I don't need any more detail. You've got me at metal.
Undisclosed. Excuse me, is there metal in this? Yes, there's metal in that, sir. Oh, good.
I'm not going to ask for metal. I'm more interested in the carbon-reinforced resin forged from laminated sheets of carbon and glass fibre. Is that the colourful bit?
Well, it's blagging all this kind of toughness that the G-Shock is known for. So, yeah, there's this kind of layering and patterning going on in these materials. And it's styled on those Peruvian Rainbow Mountains. Have you seen those?
Well, now you're saying this and I'm looking at the watch. If those mountains look anything like this watch, I would very much like to see those mountains.
Those mountains are like unbelievable. They look obscene. I really want to get this watch on my wrist and get down to those mountains and have a hell of a time because it looks amazing. The watch looks amazing. Those mountains look amazing. It's the perfect pairing.
Just looking at this, I'm sure the first time I will see these rainbow mountains will be when I review this video back and you've added some visuals. But I'm looking forward to seeing what G-Shock describes as the oxidization of minerals deposited by volcanic activity and tectonic shifts in all its stunning earthy artistry.
It definitely does feel like an artistic endeavour, doesn't it? It doesn't feel like they've just slapped together some tough materials in carbon black and go and put that on and jump in the mud. It's crazy. I love it. I think it's a rapper's watch, isn't it?
When it comes to making a watch, you can't fail to replicate nature. You really can't.
Yeah.
So, £999 for the non-disclosed metal G-Shock. I look forward to experiencing that while I eat my non-disclosed McDonald's meat burger.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. A blazing mountain-inspired rainbow G-Shock on your wrist while you're in boring, flat England eating your nondescript meat patty. This is what it's all about.
Well, shut up a minute, because I'm going to pick the next watch that I think really, for me, I'm going to say it, I think this is the biggest surprise of 2021, and I think the best watch for the industry for 2021. That's a big thing to say. And I'll start with the price. 500 quid. Half of your G-Shock. £500. Having said that, it's also sold out.
Oh.
I think there's more coming, and I certainly hope there are, because I feel like I missed out on this one. It is the Baltic MR01, the Micro Rotor 01. Did you see it?
I have not seen this particular watch, no, but I am a big fan of Baltic. We've featured some of their GMTs previously, and they've got a really nice way about them.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that Aquascap GMT in that mint green. Yeah, it's really nice. Vintage vibes.
The sector dials they did, the chronographs, all really nice. And they did that limited run salmon dial chronograph as well, which absolutely knocked it out of the park. Everyone wet their pants for it, sold out in a minute.
Sure.
This is the best yet. This is eccentric sub-seconds. This is Breguet numerals. This is salmon textured dial. And this is a micro rotor movement.
Yeah.
It looks absolutely stunning. It's a 36mm case, so it's quite small. But it's a very dressy watch. Like if you showed me this and you said, oh, this is Patek Philippe's latest, I would believe you. I really would. Of course, the quality isn't going to stand up to Patek Philippe, but the quality is good enough that for £500, you're going to be a happy chappy. You really are. And what I really love about this watch is it's so unpretentious. It's affordable. It looks great. The thought and effort has been put into the experience of it. It has a Chinese micro-rotor movement. It's designed in France. It comes from all over the place. It doesn't hang on to these like, oh, it all has to be Swiss and it all has to be expensive. It's just what people want for the price they want to pay.
Yeah, I think especially micro brands and the younger brands, they sort of try and tout themselves as we're finding a gap in the market and things like that. And that doesn't really come through in their watches, but I think with Baltic they definitely do seem to be carving out a little niche for themselves.
Yeah, and it's really evident in the fact that the design of the thing, from just the thickness of the bezel and the shape of the lugs and the design of the crown and that eccentric sub-seconds, it just all comes together to be a really well thought through watch. Because I've often found cheaper watches, they look great, but they can be a bit awkwardly proportioned. Longines do this sometimes, and you think, oh, they almost got it.
Yeah.
But I don't see anything with this watch that I dislike.
Yeah, good. We shall watch their career with great interest.
Indeed. On to a slightly different size company now for your next watch.
I'm talking about the Seiko Prospects 1968 Divers Modern Reinterpretation Save the Ocean Limited Edition. Did you get that?
Sorry. Something Seiko, something Ocean?
Yeah, we should nickname it.
No, stop it with the nicknames.
Nickname it the Polar Bear. So this is a reissue, a restyling of a famous Seiko watch from back in the 60s, where it was issued to a Japanese Antarctic research expedition, and they loved it. Apparently, they loved it. So they've just been, all those watches have since worn out, and they've just been waiting, on Seiko to do another run of them, and that's what we've got here.
So this is to save the ocean.
Yeah, so I think Save the Ocean is actually a foundation, and proceeds from purchases of this watch will go straight back into the ocean, which may cause further problems. But anyway, let's talk about this watch. It's got a nice textural dial with a kind of chilly icy blue colour.
Yep.
It's got a case of Seiko's own Ever Brilliant steel, which is their own proprietary version of stainless steel, which is more corrosion resistant.
Oh, right. So it's probably like a bit like Rolex's 904L, corrosion resistant, brighter. It's probably the same stuff, isn't it? They probably get it from the same supermarket.
No one knows what they put into that Ever Brilliant steel.
Once again, with Seiko, as a variant of Grand Seiko, really nice dial. Because I think they've done a standard version of this, just a black and gold iteration, but this Save the Ocean seems to have that real icy blue, reminiscent of the flowing ice sheets of the Antarctica and all of that, which really, really nice, and complemented by little blue accents in the bezel, I see.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it? Like little blue loom tint. Yeah, it's funny because it's, I've got a Seiko diver. It's not too dissimilar, but you see this one and you go, oh yeah, go on then. Let's have another one.
Your Seiko diver, yeah, you do like a Seiko diver. Seiko, good divers, world renowned. How much was yours? Do you remember? 300 and something?
Yeah, £300 RRP. Yeah.
How much is this one?
This one is, now that's a bit over my £300 limit. I think it's around 5,500. It's also limited edition. I think there's just 1,300 pieces. In addition to the blue, there's a gold and black, which is more in keeping with that original 68 version. There's only 600 of those as well. So
I do have to admire the audacity of Seiko benefiting from the Grand Seiko brand and charging such extraordinary prices. I mean,
why? How can Seiko do this to us? The last bastion of affordable watchmaking artistry is starting to creep up.
It does raise some interesting questions with regards to how they're pitching this brand against the Grand Seiko brand. They can't both be £5,000. Unless Grand Seiko's now £10,000 and Seiko's £5,000. That's a lot of...
It's funny, isn't it? Because Grand Seiko's still got a Seiko hangover, isn't it? People are still like, you can't charge that much for a Seiko. But now Seiko's saying, oh, yes, we can.
Indeed. And I've got a bone to pick with you about this one.
Go on.
Available in January 2022.
Oh, yeah. That's the other thing. When you said our watches of 2021, I thought you meant like Mindshare, because I've been thinking about this since it was announced this year, so that still counts.
So that's two of our top watches of 2021 scrapped then. I'm going to move on to my last one. I did struggle over this. There are quite a few pieces that would probably make an honourable mentions list, but really, I had to go back to the Gerald Genta release of the year, from the brand that has carried on after the demise of the late great Gerald Genta, the Mickey Mouse watch. Now, it's not a watch that I would purchase and wear and own, but what I really like about it is that it recalls the legacy of a man who was an utter troll when it came to watchmaking. This is the guy who would do anything and everything to do the opposite of what people wanted, and that's really what made him stand out. His ability to do the opposite of what was popular generated the chaos that we see now with the Royal Oak and the Nautilus and all the other watches that look vaguely similar.
What, he hastily doodled some octagonal watch one night and now we're still recovering from the effects of it.
He really did. Like, what an impact to have the CEO of Audemars Piguet go, oh, I forgot to do my homework and we've got a show tomorrow and I need to show the teacher something. And so Gerald Genta went, scratch, there you go, have that. And it became one of the greatest icons in watchmaking there's ever been.
Yeah.
And to follow up with that, it's almost like Genta thought, oh, what have I done? I'm going to create a watch that is the complete antithesis to watchmaking. I'm going to put a picture of Mickey Mouse and his hands are going to point to the time. And this watch, the original version of this watch, was not accepted. People did not want to acknowledge that this was proper watchmaking. This really upset some people. So to see it again now and to see the respect that it gets now, I don't know. It makes my little heart go squelch.
No, I still don't respect it. I think Mickey Mouse is a cretin, and I think this watch is a disgrace.
Oh, look at it! He's having a great time. Pointing.
Oh, yeah. Who points at 50 and laughs? I mean...
But we've also got some nice elements in here that really reflect what Gerald Genta was all about. You know, you've got the jumping hours, you've got the retrograde minutes. So it's actually quite an interesting and complex watch to boot. So
yeah, the retrograde thing's quite weird, isn't it? Do you get to see his hand whip round really quickly?
Yeah, snap back.
Nice.
It's just a watch, I think, should exist and continue to exist. And I'm sure the great irony of it will be that it will sell out immediately and it will sit in safes and be worth loads and loads of money and no one will ever get to see one, which is kind of sad. But for the rest of us plebs, at least we get to, like you said earlier, look at the pictures and enjoy it that way. My one caveat on this watch, you turn it over. Copyright Disney. Let's hope they don't ruin this as well.
Well, that's to be expected, isn't it? You know, they're pretty generous. They let all those travelling fun fairs spray paint all their characters on the side of their rides, so I don't know why they wouldn't let Gerald Genta use that.
I think they have the same freedoms as the ice cream truck manufacturers, don't they?
Yeah. Very generous with their IP, so good on you, Disney.
Indeed. And those are our top 5 watches of this year and sort of maybe a little bit 2022. Dear viewers and listeners, we would love to know what your favourite watches have been over this year and why. Perhaps there might be some obvious choices in there, or perhaps there might be some left field ones. And while you're down there as well, tell us what you think of our choices. Do you think we are enlightened watch genii, or do you think we're idiots? I'll leave that to you to decide. I'm sure it won't be any particular surprise. But before we go, we have both got an additional watch to choose from. And you might be thinking, oh, best of the rest. No, worst. The absolute worst. The watch that left us apoplectic with rage. I'm gonna go first, Tom. Okay, let me lay this down for you. Patek Philippe. Lovely. Nautilus. Yeah.
Yeah, those are good things.
Tiffany.
Who?
Tiffany & Co, the jeweller.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day.
What have they got to do with it?
Well, Tiffany are a very big jeweller, very big brand, particularly in America. And like a lot of jewellers, like Cartier and places like that, watchmakers actually... What are you doing?
Oh, sorry, yeah, I forgot you could see me.
These jewellers were very big brands. And so watchmakers, to sell their watches, would have to sell their watches under the brands of the jewellers. Rolex did it, Audemars Piguet did it, and Patek Philippe did it as well. So the Tiffany branded Patek Philippe has become a very prestigious thing, and it's a relationship they've had for a very long time. And we are at the 170th anniversary of Tiffany and Patek Philippe.
Oh.
Since 1851 they've been doing this stuff. And great, excellent. I would expect that partnership to be celebrated with something a bit more classic. The kinds of watches that really had the Tiffany dials on. But no, they chose a Nautilus. Okay, fine. But then they chose Tiffany blue on the dial. Not so sure. But then, and this is the bit that makes me want to poo my pants in rage.
I'm so angry I could poo.
You turn the watch over. You see that very lovely caliber 26 330 SC. Except you don't, because it's obscured by the fact that they've printed on the inside of the crystal like a fashion watch brand. I'm not even done. Okay, it was for charity, but the first one in auction sold for $6.5 million. I genuinely don't really know what to say about this watch, except for the fact that it's made me quite annoyed, and it represents quite a lot of things that I don't particularly like about what's happening to watches at the moment. It's the complete antithesis of that lovely Baltic. It really is.
I just don't have anything to say about it. It's Nautilus shaped, and it's got a blue dial and some Doris's name on it. It's just... So what?
And it's for some reason the best thing since sliced bread, and I don't know why. Do you think you can? Do you think you can best that for rage-inducing watches?
No. I mean, with my one, there's still a lot of money on the table, but that's mainly going to angry investors.
Okay.
So let me explain. So, are you aware of a video game developer called CD Projekt Red?
Creators of the beloved series The Witcher.
Yeah, that's right. Starring Henry Cavill. So they had a very, very much hyped video game release just over a year ago now, and everyone was very, very excited. It promised a lot of groundbreaking things in the world of interactive entertainment, and it failed quite drastically on those fronts. Wasn't even able to do things that games like Grand Theft Auto 3 from 20 years ago could do at the time, or even games like Lego City Undercover, which is aimed at 6-year-olds. So yeah, it massively flopped. A lot of people were angry, and a year later, it's pretty much the same, in the same state. The video game industry is in a place where games can release in quite a sloppy state, much to everyone's distress, but then developers kind of strive to patch out any bugs and improve games over time. So the game that releases on launch day is not always the one that you get a year later. Some cases of that. Sorry, this is getting a bit video game heavy, but No Man's Sky launched to much hype and flopped, but then, the next 3 years they spent improving the game and got everyone back on side. And that's what people are hoping CD Projekt Red will do with this game. They'll continue to develop it and patch it and make it the thing that they promised. They haven't really done that. Instead, they've released a watch.
Well, problem solved.
So instead of this amazing, groundbreaking, next generation experience of video game, we've got a T2077 digital watch. Now it's it's very futuristic looking in aesthetic, I suppose. It looks.
It seems all right.
It wouldn't be out of place on Ellen Ripley's wrist or someone like that. It's made of pure grade 2 titanium, which that sounds good. That's all right.
Don't they usually use grade 5?
Which one's the good one, 1 or 5?
I think 5. I think grade 1 is...
Is it the smaller number's the better one for titanium, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. I think grade 1 is like the one they'll only feed to animals.
All right, well, they've shortchanged us on titanium as well, god damn it. It's a quartz digital watch with a little window displaying your digital LED time, and that's about it. And it's £312, which is £12 more than a PlayStation 5. Which, but 2 years warranty, which is good. So by the time they finish the game, you'll still be in warranty.
Does Keanu Reeves have one?
Oh, Keanu Reeves, bless him. I'm sure if you asked him, he would say yes, he does, and he loves it very much. But I don't think he does. No.
I feel like there's a lot of displaced rage against this watch, and I do understand. I was very much looking forward to that game as well, and it really, for me, highlighted the importance in not pre-ordering a game, which is why I've naturally pre-ordered Elden Ring.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? We all like to rage about stuff, and I don't know if they're using this as a sort of a shield or a peace offering or what, but it's very strange. I think, if things had been different, if they'd have released the game that we had all been looking forward to, and I think these would have been snapped up. Maybe they already have been, actually, because hate is going to hate, but love is going to love. So maybe there's some people that are loving the game and loving this watch. So there you go.
Well, yes, indeed. And there you go. 2 very personal takes on 2 very different industries and how they both have managed to find themselves on the wrists of their owners. So, likewise, viewers, listeners, tell us about the watches that you think really stunk this year, that you would barely be able to write about for the rage that you experience when you think about them. And post them down in the comments below. Think of it as cleansing, ready for a fresh mind and a fresh new year in 2022, when Tom's watch of 2021 finally comes out. See you next year, everyone.
Bye-bye.